The Senate will come to order. Mr. Carpenter, please call the roll.
Senators Bridges, Cook, Quorum, Court,
Absent.
Court, Crowder, Danielson, Donovan, Finberg, Fields, Foote, Gardner, Janal, Gonzalez, Hill, Heisey, Holbert, Lee, Lundeen, Marble, Moreno, Pedersen, Priola, Rankin, Rodriguez, Scott, Smallwood, Sonnenberg, Story, Tate, Todd, Williams, Winter,
Excused.
Woodward, Zenzinger. Mr. President.
Here, with 34 present, 0 absent, and 1 excused, we have a quorum. Senator Rankin, would you please read us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Would members and guests please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the Journal. Senator Smallwood. Senator Woodward.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the reading of the Journal of Friday, February 15th, 2019 be dispensed with, and that the Journal be approved as corrected by the Secretary.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the Journal is approved. Committee reports.
February 19, 2019, Committee on Finance, after consideration of Mayor's Committee following, Senate Bill 130 be postponed indefinitely.
Senate Services.
Correctly printed, Senate Bill 141, 142, and 143 correctly engrossed. Senate Bill 106 correctly re-engrossed. Senate Bill 103 correctly revised. House Bill 1050 correctly revised. House Bill 1014 or 1060 correctly enrolled. Senate Bill 112, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121, 122, 123, 124, 125, 126, and 127.
Third reading of bills. Consent calendar. Mr. Carpenter, please read the titles to all the bills on the consent calendar.
Senate Bill 106 by Senators Cook and Zinzinger and Representative Tipper concerning an additional process by which a board of county commissioners may initiate the withdrawal of current employees who are peace officers from a defined contribution retirement plan offered by one or more local governments. House Bill 1050 by Representatives Tone and Senators Priola and Winter concerning the promotion of water efficient landscaping on property subject to management by local supervisory entities.
Majority Leader Fenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the passage of all the bills on the third reading of bills consent calendar, which includes Senate Bill 106 and House Bill 1050.
Is there any discussion on any of the bills? Seeing none, the motion before us is the passage of all the bills on third reading of bills consent calendar. Are there any no votes? Senator Sonnenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask to be recorded a no on House Bill 1050.
Senator Sonnenberg will record it as a no vote on 1050. Senator Lundeen.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request that I be recorded as a no vote on House Bill 1050.
Senator Lundeen will be recorded as a no vote on House Bill 1050. Senator Smallwood.
Morning, Mr. President. Thank you. I'd like to be recorded as a no vote on House Bill 1050.
Senator Smallwood will be recorded as a no vote on 1050. Senator Woodward.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to be recorded as a no vote on House Bill 1050.
Senator Woodward will be recorded as a no vote on 1050. Senator Cook.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wish to be recorded a no vote on House Bill 1050.
Senator Cook will be recorded as a no vote on 1050. Senator Hill.
Mr. President, I also request to be a no on 1050.
Senator Hill will be recorded as a no vote on 1050. Senator Marble.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I also wish to be recorded as a no vote on House Bill 1050.
Senator Marble will be recorded as a no vote on House Bill 1050. Senator Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. President. I respectfully request I be recorded as a no vote on House Bill 1050.
Senator Gardner will be recorded as a no vote on House Bill 1050. Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request to be recorded as a no vote on House Bill 1050.
Minority Leader will be recorded as a no vote on House Bill 1050. With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 1 excuse, Senate Bill 106 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Sonnenberg, Crowder, Todd, Janal. Marble. With a vote of 25 ayes, 9 no votes, 0 absent, 1 excuse, House Bill 1050 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Zenzinger, Moreno, Danielson, Gonzalez, Majority Leader, Janal, Story, Rodriguez, Fields, Bridges, Todd, Lee, Williams. Third reading of bills. Mr. Carpenter, please read the title to Senate Bill 109.
Senate Bill 109 by Senator Fenberg and Representative Garnett concerning adjustments, limitations, and damages to reflect the effects of inflation.
Majority Leader Fenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 109 on third reading and final passage.
Is there any discussion on Senate Bill 109? Senator Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, Senate Bill 109 adjusts the limitations on damages, non-economic damages, for several different tort claims in Colorado. Now, on its face, it seems compelling, but it is the non-economic damages involved in a tort claim that an injured party collects. And those non-economic damages are generally referred to as pain and suffering damages. Now, when I struggled through law school the first time and took first-year torts, they even taught you how to talk to a jury about non-economic damages and say things like, well, imagine your most excruciating pain, jurors, and then how much would a minute of that pain be? How much would an hour of that pain be? And I mean, it's a very compelling thing, and that's jurors, a jury of 6 or 12 in some jurisdictions in civil cases, assesses that and makes some evaluation of that. They're real. There is real cost to that kind of non-economic loss and injuries. But make no mistake that the component of non-economic damages in any lawsuit is what plaintiffs' attorneys look to determine whether and how and if they can collect sufficient fees to pursue a piece of litigation. And that's not to say that this is not a good and honorable thing that these plaintiffs' counsel do to represent people. But the higher non-economic damages are, the economics of this simply is, the more of these cases that will be brought, will be pursued, will be pushed forward, will go to juries and so forth. And you should also understand, those of you who vote yes on this bill, and I have no doubt that there will be a majority of this chamber vote yes on this bill, that you will be accepting with your yes vote as a cost of that each and every one of your vehicle owners will ultimately pay a higher premium. Each and every one of your small businesses that has to carry general liability insurance, and all of them do, will pay a higher premium. Will it be enough to put them out of business? Well, you know, every dollar, every additional dollar, every additional cost makes it that much harder to do business, and it makes it that much harder to own a car, to pay for your insurance. And I heard testimony that these non-economic damages caps will be increased enough that the $1 million policy that most of us carry for general liability or for excess coverage needs to be 1.5 million or 2. And so it won't just be the increment for an additional $1 million policy. It will be having to up our coverage. So, members, just make a knowing choice. So when you get the call from your constituent complaining about high insurance costs, you might acknowledge that, yes, I voted for that, and I take some responsibility for why your insurance costs are that much higher. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 109? Majority Leader Fenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also heard a lot of the testimony when this bill was in committee, and I think we could talk for a long time here about exactly what claims were made and what this bill would actually, how it would impact insurance rates, and if it's actually hail damage that is increasing insurance rates, or if it's something like increasing damages caps by inflation. But we're not going to probably get into that, considering this is third reading. What I will say, just to make this very simple, is this bill is about one thing, that is simply increasing the numbers that are in statute by inflation. We do this every 10 years. This is the 10th year since we've done it, so we would be increasing it simply by inflation over the last 10 years. This is something this body has done in 2008, in 1998, et cetera. That's what this bill does. It is just simply catching up with the cost of money. It also says that instead of coming back to this body every 10 years to have this discussion, let's just automatically adjust it every 2 years for inflation. So we don't have to keep having this political football in this body. That's what this bill does. It is not about insurance rates. It will not increase damages caps in real money. It will only increase it based on inflation.
Seeing no further discussion on Senate Bill 109, the question before the body is the passage of Senate Bill 109. Are there any no votes? Senators Crowder, Sonnenberg, Lundin, Minority Leader, Marble, Quorum, Priola, Cook, Woodward, Smallwood, Gardner, Rankin, Scott, Heisey, Tate, Hill. With a vote of 18 ayes, 16 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Bill 109 is passed. Co-sponsors. Senators Foote, Gonzalez, Fields, Rodriguez. General order, second reading of bills, consent calendar. Senator Fields.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for consideration of general order, second reading of bills, consent calendar.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The motion is adopted, and the Senate will resolve itself into Committee of the Whole for consideration of general order, second reading of bills, consent calendar, and Senator Fields will take the chair.
The committee will come to order and the court rule is relaxed. Will the clerk please read the titles of all the bills on the general order, second reading of bills, consent calendar?
House Bill 1008 by Representatives Kraft, Thorpe, and Larson, and Senators Todd and Lundin concerning the provision of grants for career and technical education capital construction through the Building Excellence Schools Today Act. House Bill 1104 by Representative Ransom and Senator Lee concerning the rights of persons represented by an attorney through the Office of the Respondent's Parents Council. House Bill 1098 by Representative Gray and Senator Lee concerning deeds for the conveyance of real property and in connection therewith establishing requirements for title insurance entities that prepare deeds and establishing forms for the preparation of deeds in certain circumstances.
Majority Leader Finberg.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move for the adoption of all the bills on the consent calendar, which includes House Bill 1008, House Bill 1104, and House Bill 1098.
Is there any discussion on any of the bills on the consent calendar? The motion before the body is the adoption of all the bills on general order, second reading of bills, consent calendar. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the bills are adopted. Majority Leader Finberg.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion is for the committee to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. The committee will rise and report.
The Senate will come to order. Senator Fields.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has had a number of bills under consideration. Will the clerk please read the report?
Mr. President, your committee will execute reports that are in consideration of the following tax bills being seconded and makes following recommendations around House Bill 1008, House Bill 1104, House Bill 1098, passed second reading order, revised place calendar for third reading and final passage.
Senator Fields.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the report.
The motion is the adoption of the committee of the whole report. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 1 excused, the committee of the whole report is adopted. House Bill 1008, House Bill 1104, and House Bill 1098 passed on second reading, ordered, revised, and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. General order, second reading of bills. Senator Fields.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the committee of the whole for the consideration of general orders, second reading of bills.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The motion is adopted, and the Senate will resolve itself into the committee of the whole for consideration of general orders, second reading of bills, and Senator Fields will take the chair.
The committee will come to order, and the court rule is relaxed. Oh, say it again. Thank you, Mr. President. The committee will come to order, and the court rule is relaxed. Will the clerk please read the title to Senate Bill 90?
Senate Bill 90 by Senator Scott concerning the operation of peer-to-peer motor vehicle sharing businesses.
Majority Leader Finberg.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move Senate Bill 90 lay over until Wednesday, February 20th, 2019.
The motion is to lay over Senate Bill 90 until Wednesday, February the 20th. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Senate Bill 90 will be laid over until Wednesday, February the 20th. Senator Scott. Will the clerk please read the title to House Bill 1062?
House Bill 1062 by Representative Rich and Senator Scott concerning the Grand Junction Regional Center campus.
Senator Scott.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1062.
To the bill, Senator Scott.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is actually a very good little bill for my county. We have what's known as the Grand Junction Regional Center. You've probably heard of it at some legislation in the past. It's been kind of a contentious problem, but we have residents there that I think we have about 20 that are still located there, and that will be, their move will be completed hopefully within the next few months. We've built a brand new facility for them, and CDC and JBC have done a great job over the last years trying to come up with resolutions and solutions for this facility, and it's been tricky. What this bill basically does is adds an option that the state can look at part of this property or all of this property as a transfer to either a university or to a county, city, whoever it might be, that would be interested in redevelopment of this property. It's about 47 acres. There's buildings on about a third of this property. So if you can imagine buildings built, gosh, way back in the 1800s, the remediation of this property, that's one reason that the legislature did what it did. We don't want to pay $7 million, $8 million, $10 million to remediate this particular property because of all kinds of reasons. We had great conversations in committee. The discussion was interesting because we can do a couple things with this property. We can sit on it forever. We can fence in 47 acres. We can put in security to try to protect the property from vagrants and vandalism. We could have to go in and pay to scrape the property if we wanted to. There's a tremendous amount of expenses that could be associated with this property, or if we get lucky, somebody may roll along that wants to spend a lot of money to buy this property, and that may happen. This is only an option for a discussion. Even if this option were exercised, if somebody said, hey, we're Mesa County, we'd like to take 5 acres of this property and this building, they have to come back to this body to get that approved. It's not an automatic. It is not an automatic. So we still have control of the property whether we like it or not. I think in the future what we're going to find is if some real estate developer or some county or city's got the foresight, there's half of the property could be sold at a heck of probably a pretty decent profit, and the other half could be moved to somebody that wants to do something with it. Because an agency like Mesa County, for an example, or CMU, can get grants to fix things. Individuals have a very difficult time doing that. With that, members, I appreciate all the support we've gotten in committee, and I would ask for your aye vote.
Senator Zinzinger.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, I also support this bill. As was mentioned by the bill sponsor, the JBC has been working very closely with the transition of the current tenants. That transition has been working well. I think that there is nothing wrong with putting another option on the table, and I would encourage your support.
Is there further discussion? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of House Bill 1062. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the bill is adopted. Majority Leader Finberg.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion before the committee is to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the committee will rise and report.
The committee will come to order. Senator Phillips.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has met on one bill for consideration. Will the clerk please read the report?
Mr. President, committee will the reports that are serious and following test bills being second reading thereof makes following recommendation on House Bill 1062 pass second reading order rise and place the calendar for their reading and final passage to Senate Bill 90 laid over until 2/20/2019 retaining its place on the calendar.
Senator Phillips.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of the report.
The motion is for the adoption of the committee of the whole report. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excuse, the committee of the whole report is adopted. House Bill 1062 passed on second reading, order revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Senate Bill 090 laid over until 2/20/2019, retaining its place on the calendar. Consideration of House amendments. Majority Leader Fenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to lay over the balance of the calendar until Wednesday, February 20th, 2019.
You have heard the motion. The motion before the body is to lay over the remainder of the calendar. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the balance of the calendar will be laid over. Message from the governor.
January 22nd, 2019, to the Honorable Colorado Senate, ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to the powers of the federal constitutional law of the state of Colorado, I have the honor to designate, appoint, reappoint, submit to consideration of the following members of the Colorado Commission on the Aging. For terms expiring July 1st, 2020, James Ronald DeVries, MSHA of Denver, Colorado, serves as an unaffiliated from Congressional District 1 on occasion of the resignation of Julie Hunter Mowry of Denver, Colorado, appointed. Kathleen Hall, RN, BSN, MS, PhD of Grand Junction, Colorado, to serve from the Green Party from the Congressional District 3 on occasion of the resignation of Deborah K. Bailey of Grand Junction, Colorado, appointed for terms expiring July 1st, 2022. Sean C. Woods, CFPAIFCAP, Evergreen, Colorado, to serve as Republican from Congressional District 2, reappointed. Paulette St. James of Denver, Colorado, to serve as Democrat from Congressional District 1, reappointed. Chad Frederick Fedorowitz of Carbondale, Colorado, to serve as unaffiliated. And as an at-large member from Congressional District 3, appointed. Jody Barker of Colorado Springs, Colorado, to serve as Republican from Congressional District 5, reappointed. Stephen Michael Grund of Littleton, Colorado, to serve as Republican from Congressional District 6, reappointed. Ryan James Bermude of Aurora, Colorado, to serve as Democrat from Congressional District 6, appointed. Christina St. Tropez Johnson of Lakewood, Colorado, to serve as Democrat from Congressional District 7, reappointed. Sincerely, Jerry Polis, Governor.
Local government.
January 22nd, 2019, Honorable Colorado Senate, ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to the powers conferred by the Constitutional law of the state of Colorado, I have the honor to designate, appoint, reappoint, submit to consideration of the following members of the Colorado Aeronautical Board for terms expiring December 19th, 2021. Charles Amian Myers of Elbert, Colorado, to serve as a member from the Eastern Slope and who represents local governments that operate airports, reappointed. Kenneth Edward Mampa, Mountain Village, Colorado, to serve as a member from the Western Slope and who represents local governments that operate airports, appointed. Sincerely, Jerry Polis, Governor.
Transportation and Energy.
January 22nd, 2019, to the Honorable Colorado Senate, ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to the powers conferred by the Constitutional law of the state of Colorado, I have the honor to designate, reappoint, appoint, and submit to consideration of the following members of the Colorado Board of Veterans Affairs for terms expiring June 30th, 2021. Lonjanos Gonzalez of Colorado Springs, Colorado, Republican veteran, who has been honorably released to separate from the armed forces of the United States on occasion by the deployment and resignation of Lacey Galanka of Castle Rock, Colorado, appointed for terms expiring June 30th, 2022. Sheila Marie Quadrani Scanlon of Aurora, Colorado, to serve as a veteran, and as a Republican appointed. Dwayne E. Daly of Hot Sulphur Springs, Colorado, to serve as a veteran, and as a Republican reappointed. Sincerely, Jerry Polis, Governor.
State Veterans and Military Affairs.
January 22nd, 2019, to the Honorable Colorado Senate, ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to the powers conferred upon the Constitutional law of the state of Colorado, I have the honor to designate, reappoint, submit to consideration of the following Board of Commissioners for Veterans Community Living Centers for terms expiring July 1st, 2022. Karen E. Kowalski, PhD, RN, NEABCA, EFFAN of Larkspur, Colorado, a veteran reappointed. Sincerely, Jared Polis, Governor.
State Veterans and Military Affairs.
January 24th, 2019, to the Colorado Senate. Ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to the powers conferred by the Constitutional law of the state of Colorado, I have the honor to designate, reappoint, submit to consideration of the following members of the Colorado Tourism Office Board of Directors for terms expiring June 1st, 2021. Douglas P. Price, Colorado Springs, Colorado, previously served as a representative of the destination marketing industry, to now serve as a representative of Cultural Events Facilities Group on occasion by the resignation of Barbara Jean Bowman of Grand Junction, Colorado. Reappointed Sean Edward Jamule of Evergreen, Colorado, to serve as an at-large member for tourism-based industries and small communities, appointed for terms expiring June 1st, 2022. Courtney Lee Fraser of Park, Colorado, as previously appointed to serve as a representative and at-large members for tourism-based industries and small communities, to now serve as a representative of outdoor recreation activities and small businesses. Reappointed Lucy K. of Dillon, Colorado, to serve as a representative of the destination marketing industry on occasion by the change in designation of Douglas P. Price of Colorado Springs, Colorado. Appointed Kieran Kane of Lafayette, Colorado, to serve as an at-large member from tourism-based industries. Reappointed Sincerely, Jared Polis, Governor.
Agriculture and Natural Resources.
January 22nd, 2019, to the Honorable Colorado Senate, ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to the powers conferred by the Constitutional law of the state of Colorado, I have the honor to designate, appoint, reappoint, submit to consideration of the following members of the Colorado Water Resource and Power Development Authority for terms expiring October 1st, 2022. Christopher Treese of Glenwood Springs, Colorado, to serve as a representative from the Main Colorado Drainage Basin and a representative with experience in public health issues related to drinking water or water quality matters. Appointed Robert Edward Wolf of Durango, Colorado, to serve as a representative from the San Miguel Dolores San Juan Drainage Basin and as a representative with experience in engineering aspects of water projects. Reappointed Sincerely, Jared Polis, Governor.
Agriculture and Natural Resources. Members, last time I requested this, the showing was a little abysmal, so will the Capitol Choir please convene? They have been practicing. And will Senators Hill and Moreno please come down to the well?
know.
We need some.
Let's sing it in Spanish.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Senator Moreno and Senator Hill. Happy birthday to you.
Much better. Much better.
There we go.
Announcements. Senator Williams.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to ask for a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I just wanted you to be aware that the Colorado Women's Chamber of Commerce is here at their day at the Capitol. The Colorado Women's Chamber of Commerce is advocating on policies and elevating women in our community here in Colorado and business owners. So if you would, please help me recognize the Colorado Women's Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am very excited to announce to my colleagues that this evening is the 2019 annual legislative reception for the Metropolitan State University of Denver. That'll be taking place this evening from 5 to 7 p.m. over at the Auraria campus's Aerospace and Engineering Sciences building at 1449 7th Street in Denver. I look forward to seeing you all then. Thank you.
Senator Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. President. Request a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to let my colleagues know that we have members and members of the board of the Colorado Academy of Physicians Assistants with us this morning, and invite you to welcome them and ask for free medical advice while you're at it. Thank you.
Senator Todd.
Thank you, Mr. President, maker of pirates. Want to say good morning to all of you and ask for a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you. I do want to invite you tomorrow morning to joint education. We've talked so much about turnaround schools and talked about how different equations and different kinds of approaches work in different situations. And so tomorrow morning, joint education will be addressing some of those and hearing from some schools that are really making a difference in the lives of many of our Colorado students. 7:30 a.m. in 271, so come and join us.
Members, just as a reminder, several of you today have intertwined the announcement with moments of personal privilege. Remember that if it is of statewide recognition or of statewide matters, it is a moment of personal privilege. Simple announcements can be made under announcements. Senator Janal.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Senate Local Government Committee will meet at 2 p.m. today in our usual room, Senate Room 354, where we have one sunset review. So thanks.
Senator Lee.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, we're going to have a briefing on Friday on adjournment to the Joint Judiciary Committee about the prison expansion bills to address the overcrowding of Colorado's prisons to try to get a broader understanding. It's a complex issue, and we have asked people from the prisons as well as the JBC, the Department of Corrections, public defenders, and the district attorneys to appear and talk to us about the prison growth in Colorado and how we might address it. Thank you.
Senator Marble.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a very simple but very important announcement to make today, that we are joined this morning by Awake America Colorado, a group of pastors throughout the state who have come down here today and will convene also in LSBB. So if you have a chance, go and make yourself acquainted with them if you haven't already. We really appreciate them being down here.
Senator Zenzinger.
Members, Senate Appropriations will be meeting on Friday. We will be meeting at 8 a.m. instead of 7:30 because we only have 3 bills that are up. So 8 a.m. on Friday, Senate Appropriations over in LSB.
Senator Quorum.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have notified my friends in Lake City that their name has officially been changed to Lakewood City. Mr. President, I failed to do this the other day, but I have a dear friend at home, Mr. Nick Gray, who turned 100 years old on February 11th. He's still running 700 head of cattle, and he's riding horses. And Pearl Harbor survived Guadalcanal, and it's been an honor to know the gentleman. Thank you.
Senator Donovan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, those of you who are on ag, I just want to flag that we will be meeting tomorrow upon adjournment. We will not meet on Thursday, but this is our first Wednesday meeting, and hopefully the general public who are interested in the River Outfitters sunset will be aware that we will hear that tomorrow upon adjournment. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Fields.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to request a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Members, it is with sad heart that I announce that Anthony T.J. Cunningham, an assistant principal at Aurora's Hinckley High School and former CU Buff football player and a former Seattle Seahawks player, was shot and murdered Sunday during a dispute. And so, Mr. President, I would like to request a moment of personal silence.
Senator Todd.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I, too, join my colleague from Aurora on this very sad occasion. This young man was in high school at Overland High School, and we knew him as a star, a football star. We knew him as a leader. We knew him as a gregarious, peacemaking individual. He's leaving behind 3 young children. One of his daughter's birthday is today. It is a very sad occasion that problem solving didn't work and one person lost their life. A mother who lost her son, who is the shooter. The impact of our entire community has been felt and will continue to be felt. I will join my colleague in asking for a moment of silence and ask that we take the time to lift this family up in the depths of great sorrow today and in the days that lie ahead. T.J. Cunningham will be long remembered.
The Senate will observe a moment of silence and the Senate chimes will be rung.
Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you, Senators. Majority Leader Fenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate recess until 2 p.m. today.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The Senate will stand in recess until 1400 today.